Michigan wins in a dominant fashion, 45-20 over Maryland, where truly after the first quarter that ended up being a 7-7 tie, Michigan just took over offensively. This was a Michigan team that ran the ball extremely effectively, and that's something that Mikey and I talked about going into this game, just how much we thought that Michigan would win comfortably, how much this Maryland team wouldn't be able to truly stop and shouldn't be able to stop this Michigan offense, even though that they have struggled on the road. This was a game that Michigan truly dominated from the get-go. It was a game that they caused Malik Washington to make at least one mistake in this game through one interception, one touchdown pass, which the only touchdown pass he had in this entire game was truly the opening touchdown with 10:28 left to go in the first quarter. So it truly was really that and nothing else for Malik Washington. Obviously, when you have that specific stat line, you're obviously not going to have guys that are going to be great catching the ball. I know you do have a guy in Chalik Knott that had a pretty decent performance. Jaleel Farag had a decent performance as well. The only guy that had one touchdown in this game, Dorian Fleming, is that guy. He only had 3 receptions. This was just not a great offensive performance against a Michigan defense that I thought was pretty good in this game. They really caused Maryland to have several issues. They forced basically Malik to hurry things. This Maryland offense was able to run the ball effectively as well. Malik Washington was the leading rusher on the day, at least attempts, gains, stuff like that. You have Deshaun Williams as well. But this was a Maryland team that ran for 71 yards on 25 attempts. You're not going to win a game against Michigan when you do that comparatively to what Michigan was able to do offensively. I thought you had a guy in Bryson Kuzdal who's truly stepped in for a guy like Jordan Marshall, for a guy like Justice Haynes. Bryson has been a guy that truly has kind of been that number one running back for this team. Do I think he's as good as those guys? I don't necessarily think so. But the thing about Michigan and the thing that they've done very, very well the last couple of years is not only the offensive line, but finding running backs that can contribute when they get an opportunity to. And Bryson has been a guy that has done that. You also have a guy in Thomas Omer that had a little bit of a performance as well. 8 attempts, 72 yards. He was a guy that whenever he got an opportunity, he stepped in as well. Bryson had 3 touchdowns. Jasper Parker had 1 touchdown as well rushing. You also had Bryce Underwood use his legs a little bit. He had 8 attempts for 30 yards on the day, so you love seeing that. That's something that Mikey talked a lot about, is wanting him to use his legs a little bit more. Do I think he absolutely needed to in this game to win it? No, absolutely not. It's because of just his ability to obviously get out of the pocket, his ability to use his athleticism. I think he definitely showed that quite a bit in this game. And you have other couple of guys that really stepped up offensively. Andrew Marsh just continues to be the wide receiver number 1 for Michigan. 5 receptions, 76 yards, another touchdown on the day. Dominic McCulley also contributed 1 touchdown on the day. Only 2 receptions, but you're truly starting to see some guys step up for this Michigan team, especially in the wide receiver room. You have Marlon Klein doing a little bit at the tight end position, but it's truly the Andrew Marsh show at this point. And obviously, like when you win by 25, it's not only going to be a great offensive performance, it's going to be a great defensive performance as well. This Maryland team was basically shut down for a majority of this game. I did talk about kind of that first drive Maryland had, but after that, it was field goal, touchdown. And at that point, Michigan was up so much, it truly doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And even the touchdown that got at the end of the game, there's like 5 minutes left to go. Like, it truly didn't matter. Michigan was just dominating from that point. It was just already a game out of reach. Like, it was a 45-13 game at that point. Make a 25-point loss. I don't think anyone's truly surprised about this game. I thought, and Mikey thought, that this was going to be a game that Michigan would handle comfortably. That's exactly what they did. They came in, they handled business, and This was just a really great offensive performance, and not only offensive performance, I do want to obviously give a lot of credit to the defense as well. I thought Michigan defensively played very, very well. You had Joshawn Barham had 1 sack on the day. You had Trey Williams had a sack on the day. Derek Moore had a sack on the day. Michigan had 3 sacks in this game. Like, this was constant pressure over and over and over again. There's a couple forced fumbles in this. You have Tevis Metcalf had a forced fumble in this game. You also had 1 interception. You had Mason Curtis had the 1 interception on this game. There's just multiple guys on this Michigan defense that continues to step up. A guy that continues to be a well-known name on this defense, Cole Sullivan, had a pretty decent performance. You have Rayshawn Benny had a pretty decent performance. It was just overall a good performance for Michigan. It's something that you need to see going into Ohio State this week. Obviously, you got the game at home. Mikey and I will obviously be talking about that game when it comes time, which I'm really excited to talk about that game. But you just need to handle business. And that's exactly what Michigan did in this one. They just needed to get a win. They needed to show a little bit of dominance. They needed to truly come out, be able to run the ball effectively. When Michigan runs the ball effectively in these games, this offense looks so much better. And I think that's truly the biggest difference is you need to be able to run the ball to open things up for Bryce, because once Bryce gets going, that's when things get a little bit more scary. I think Bryce has been a little bit better as of recent. Do I think he was absolutely spectacular in this game? Not necessarily. 16 for 23, 2 touchdowns. Like, it was a good performance from him. He struggled as of the past in the away games, so I'm not going to say it was a bad performance. Do I think he could have been better? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think he needed to be better? No, absolutely not. Bryce did exactly what he needed to do. He took care of the ball, found his wide receivers. Wide receivers are stepping out for him. Tight ends are stepping out for him. And that's all I think Michigan fans really ask for at the end of the day is just get better offensively, have a lot of confidence going against Ohio State. I think that's exactly where they are right now. They beat a really bad Maryland team. They dominated. They handled business. They needed to get it done, and they did. So not much more really to talk about in this game. Just an overall good performance for Michigan. Like I said, Michigan, now Ohio State this week, the game. This is going to be probably a difference between a college football playoff and not. If you win that game, probably a college football playoff. We will see. But Michigan's had a good year this year, and now it's all going to come down to the game against Ohio State, which, like I mentioned before, we'll talk about a little bit later this week. But if you enjoy this content, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, Mikey and I will talk about that game. Hopefully, a lot of you guys tune in for that one. It should be a fun one. Interested to see what Mikey thinks heading into this game. But it's going to be a good one. Good win for Michigan. Dominant performance, 45 points, 25-point win. But thanks for everyone for tuning in, and make sure to tune in to the preview for Ohio State.